Hey everyone, today we're going to take a look at this 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. This is a compact SUV. It's been on sale for a few generations now. What's particularly unique about the new Outlander, though, is the fact that it rides on the same platform as the Nissan Rogue. That's because Nissan and Mitsubishi have the same parent company, so rather than design two different compact SUVs, why not just build one compact SUV platform and then change it ever so slightly to fit the different brands. This thing is all new for 2022. It is different from the Rogue in a few different ways. They're relatively minor. First of all, the biggest thing here is that the Outlander comes standard with a third row seat. It's a tiny third row seat. I put my dogs back there this week. It might also be good for really small children, like under 5 years old. But there is that third row if you need it. The Outlander also gets a unique all-wheel drive system. Supposedly, you're probably not going to really be able to tell the difference. Obviously, styling is a little bit different. And then the thing that's easy to miss, Mitsubishi offers a more competitive, more aggressive warranty than Nissan does. So given that Mitsubishi is a pretty small brand in the United States these days, they sell on value more than anything. They offer that warranty to make a little bit stronger case for their products. But like I said, I've been driving this for the past week. I've put a lot of miles on it, and I've really actually enjoyed it for what it is. So on that note, let's do a little tour of the new Mitsubishi Outlander here and then take it out for a drive. Styling's obviously subjective, but I think the new Outlander looks pretty sharp, but you can draw your own conclusions there. One thing I will add, like I said, it's built on the same platform as the new Rogue, but the styling is all different. From an exterior standpoint, the only thing that the two vehicles really share are the body panel cut lines and their overall profile. I'm being purposely vague there, but look at an Outlander and a Rogue side by side, and you'll probably see what I mean. Up front, there's kind of a big X pattern to the front end of this, so you've got a chrome design element on either side of the grille. The grille is a gloss black with some chrome strips in it, and then the headlights, well, the headlights are kind of unique. Your fog lights are down here. These are, I believe, your daytime running lights and your turn signals, and then your high beams and low beams live in there. Moving down the side, these are 20-inch wheels wrapped in Bridgestone Ecopia all-season tires. Silver mirror caps. You do get roof rails. This is a fully loaded SEL model. There's also a panoramic sunroof up there, which we'll take a look at. I really like the side profile of this vehicle. Again, styling is subjective, but it's pleasantly blocky. The edges are rounded, and I don't think they set out to design a boxy vehicle, but they've kind of achieved that. Something really unique I noticed. There's a bend to the window frame. There's like actually a kink in the window frame. I've not noticed that in any other modern vehicle. Moving around back, we'll take a look at the badging. So you've got Outlander, the Mitsubishi emblem, and then SEL right there. That tells us this is a fully loaded SEL model. Oh, and then the all-wheel drive system Mitsubishi brands as Super All-Wheel Control. As for the cargo area, like I mentioned, the Outlander comes standard with the third row. That's one area where it differs from the Rogue, which isn't even available with the third row. So the third row seats 2 across, 1, 2, making for a total of 7 passengers that can ride along in an Outlander. But keep in mind, it is pretty small. We'll take a look at it from the other side in a little while, but it's pretty easy to put up. You just grab this strap right here, and then the headrests, they live underneath this panel where you can also stow a cargo cover, and the headrests are right here. In these compact SUVs, when you get a third row, they can't make the seat back very big because there just isn't much real estate. So you wind up with really big headrests to bridge the gap. So we're gonna put that in there. There we go. So yeah, you have a comically large headrest there. But again, nobody other than a small child should really be riding along back here, so that's really not going to matter. But I mean, Have you ever seen a headrest that big? Anyway, let's move on. Like I said, there's some storage space under here. You've just got a cargo cover and the other headrest under there now. Other things back here, there is a 12-volt outlet. You can put second row seat back down via this handle right here. There is a tie-down point. Like I mentioned, you can put a cargo cover back here. The third row seat belts can be clipped behind that clip right there to keep them from clattering around. And then that's really about it. There are a couple of hooks, tie-down points, then a light over on this side here with a little hook. Here's the key, and what I noticed right away is that it's shaped and laid out almost exactly like Nissan's key. The only difference being Nissan's key is round, whereas the top of this key and the bottom are squared off. But either way, you've got lock, unlock, push and hold for the rear hatch, and then push and hold for panic. Okay, climbing inside, let's take a look at the window sticker. So you can see this is a 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander SEL 2.5 all-wheel drive, and as equipped, it comes in at $37,995. This is pretty much fully loaded, although I did just build an Outlander on the Mitsubishi website, and it was coming in at about $1,000 more than this, so I can't say exactly for sure that's the fully loaded cost. But either way, in terms of features, this one is pretty much fully loaded. It uses a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, pretty basic there. It makes 181 horsepower and 181 pounds-feet of torque, just like it does in the Nissan Rogue. Worth noting, the Rogue for 2022 is available with a 3-cylinder turbo. The Outlander, though, sticks with the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. So no 3-cylinder in the Outlander, at least not yet. I should also mention the Outlander PHEV. The previous generation Outlander was available as a plug-in hybrid, and that vehicle is supposedly going to return, but we don't know much more about that other than the new Outlander here should down the road also be available as a PHEV. This one, like I said, just a basic gas model. The EPA rates it at 24 city, 30 highway, and 26 combined. Again, keeping in mind this is a fully loaded model, this interior is pretty nice. You've got contrast colors on the dashboard, so you get this brown and then black with brown stitching. Same goes for the seats. There's some diamond stitching in it there, perforated leather, and then brown stitching on the sides here. The bolstering is decent, although I will say I put a lot of miles on this car this week, and after about 2 hours behind the wheel, these seats start to get pretty uncomfortable, which was pretty disappointing, especially given that, well, this vehicle is based on the same platform as the Nissan Rogue, and Nissan in particular offers pretty comfortable seats. They made a point to design really comfortable seats about a decade ago, but unfortunately that doesn't apply here to the Outlander. These seats are probably a drawback. But other than that, the switchgear and the buttons in the layout here all feel pretty good. You get silver buttons for the windows. All 4 are one-touch up and down. Again, I mentioned the hard angle on these windows. We'll get a closer look at the door frame. You can see there's actually a sharp angle there on the window frame. It's not entirely curved like in pretty much every other vehicle. I don't know if you can see the glass, but once again, that's almost a point. The infotainment is exactly what you get from Nissan. It's Nissan's infotainment system, which isn't the best, but it's not something that would steer me away from buying one of these. The digital gauge cluster is really nice, fully digital, so that's all screen right there. Relatively easy to use. You control it via some buttons on the steering wheel here. Speaking of the steering wheel, it does have paddle shifters, even though this vehicle uses a continuously variable automatic transmission. It does have 8 simulated gears, so it's not entirely like a geared automatic, but it gives you that feeling a little bit. You do get USB-C next to a USB-A port, and then there's a 12-volt outlet here and a wireless charging pad. The gear lever is exactly the same as it is in the Rogue and in many other Nissan products, as you would expect. You get some terrain modes. Something fun that I noticed, Mitsubishi, they don't have sport mode, rather they call it tarmac, which I think makes more sense than sport mode. I mean, nothing about this vehicle is really sporty, but it does make sense that a car company would offer a driving mode specifically for asphalt or tarmac in this case. And you can see they've even got some S-bends there. I used tarmac mode a little bit this week. There's only so much you can get out of a continuously variable automatic transmission and 181 horsepower 4-cylinder, but it made things maybe a little bit more urgent, we'll say. Electronic parking brake off here to the right with not much else. There's just a bunch of unused real estate right there. Your cup holders are here, and then inside the center console box, well, there's not really much anything other than some carpet here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back seat. Oh, this is kind of funny. There's a light shining down right there that puts a Mitsubishi emblem in red, which is fun. That's kind of the older style Mitsubishi emblem, and then it says Mitsubishi Motors right there. I've seen this in Mercedes-Benz products. I've seen it in other high-end cars. It's kind of fun and refreshing that a mainstream automaker is doing this. It adds a little bit of character. Okay, here we are in the second row of the Outlander. We'll put that seat back, and I know it's kind of dark back here. Let's turn a light on. There are 2 lights overhead and grab handles, which is nice because you do have this big panoramic sunroof right here that lets a lot of light in. It's a pretty big panoramic sunroof. It comes almost all the way back to the seat backs. Back here you do have independent HVAC vents with a single zone temperature control, and then heated outboard seats, which we love to see. Underneath here is a USB-A port and a USB-C port. Over here on the doors, this one has a special package that, on top of the fact that this is a fully loaded SEL model, gets you sunshades for the rear windows, in addition to a few other things. You do have one-touch power up and down functionality, even for the back switches, which is great. And then the back door panels, a lot of times I've been seeing companies skimp out on quality back here. Luckily, this is still a soft, squishy, kind of cushioned leather material. Same goes for the door panel, same goes for the armrest. So overall, this is pretty nice. Let's take a look at the seat backs and the third row. So something kind of odd, rather than a cup holder, so you do have a headrest back here, but rather than a fold down cup holder, this, gotta use both hands here, but the whole middle seat back folds down. So this is a 40-20-40 folding split seat back here, but that's where your cup holders live. But when you put this down, you've got this opening here, and that might actually be nice if you have small kids climbing into the third row. But I'm going to get out and then climb into the third row this way. So the seat bottoms do slide, so they are on tracks here, so those can be slid forward and backward via levers there. So that's gonna help me get a little bit of leg room, maybe. But let's put them down. You grab that strap there, and then we'll climb back here. So there's really not a lot of room. I am a 33-year-old adult. I'm about 5'10", and I have kind of freakishly long legs. I could not tolerate it back here at all. Sorry, I know you really can't see, but yeah, this is not working for me. My knees are jammed into the seat back. I don't have any room for my feet, and yeah, this is definitely made for very small children. I'm gonna say under the age of 5. But the nice thing is you can make a little bit of footroom by sliding the second row forward. That's something these compact 3-row SUVs tend to offer, the ability to slide the second row forward. So say you wanted to haul 5-year-olds around, you could slide the second row forward a little bit, because a 5-year-old in the second row can sacrifice a little bit of leg room, and that allows for well, a little bit of leg room for your 5-year-olds riding in the third row. So it works only in a very specific situation. Okay, going for a ride in this 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. So this car isn't really designed to be anything too crazy or special. Compact SUVs are a huge portion of the market these days. It's probably the most competitive new vehicle segment in the United States, other than like your full-size trucks. So there's nothing too crazy here. But overall, just like the Nissan Rogue, with which it shares its platform, this is a very competent vehicle. There's a lot to like. 181 horsepower, CVT. There's 50. We're not even going to be able to make it to 60 before we get to the light here. But it's not fast. That's not really one of its strong suits. I still don't love the CVT. Nissan's been using CVTs for a long time now. They are the thing now. They are pretty much the standard now. Not every automaker uses one, but a lot of them do. I don't love them. I prefer a geared automatic, but most people would be able to ignore this transmission. I don't think it's going to bother very many people. I'm just a little bit particular, maybe. I haven't really been able to test out the unique all-wheel drive system that the Outlander uses, but that's one other area where it differs from the Rogue. I can't say much about that, though. You do get a lot of different terrain modes. It's kind of fun. There is a hill descent control. One other area where the Outlander differs from the Rogue that I think I failed to mention, the Rogue is built in the United States. It's built at Nissan's plant in Tennessee. The Outlander, though, is still built in Japan. So if you like American-made stuff, even though Nissan's a Japanese automaker, if you like American-made stuff, maybe that's a leg up for the Rogue. If you like Japanese-made things, though, maybe that's a point to the Outlander. Going over our first speed bump there, ride quality is not one of this vehicle's selling points. So a little bit bumpy, a little bit loud, suspensions maybe a little bit harsh. So, you know, these days any vehicle from a Nissan Versa to a Mercedes GLS makes for a fine road trip vehicle, but I wouldn't. There's our big speed bump. You heard some of the stuff for the third row bouncing around there. But I wouldn't call this a particularly good road trip vehicle, but as someone who took it on a road trip this week, it did just fine, other than the uncomfortable seat and well, kind of excessive road noise. So maybe a little bit less than just fine. Backup camera is pretty nice. Nissan's backup cameras are decent. Their 360-degree top-down view camera system is pretty good. They were one of the first companies to introduce that, and it's nice to see that it has made its way into the Outlander, because a 360-degree top-down view is really nice to have. Electronic parking brake kind of takes a few seconds to go on and off. It's kind of annoying, but either way, that is our look at the 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. Very similar to the Nissan Rogue, same platform, same powertrain, same electronics, lots of the same switchgear, same infotainment system, probably the same quality when it really comes down to it. But you get a third row in the Outlander. The Outlander uses a unique all-wheel drive system, even though I doubt you'd ever be able to notice the difference. The Outlander is built in Japan. The Outlander has different styling, and the Outlander offers a really competitive warranty. So most mainstream manufacturers offer 3 years and 36,000 miles of bumper-to-bumper coverage. The Outlander, though, offers 5 years and 60,000 miles of coverage. So that's significantly better there. And then on top of that, it offers 10 years and 100,000 miles of powertrain coverage, which is significantly better than every other automaker other than Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis. They're the same company, so they They also offer a pretty good warranty. But warranty is yet another thing that sets the Outlander apart from its Nissan Rogue sibling. So nothing too crazy here. This is a competent, very competent vehicle. I think the fact that it now shares its platform and all that other stuff with the Nissan Rogue is a good thing. Mitsubishi is a pretty small company, especially here in the United States. So if they were to have attempted to design the next generation Outlander on their own, I think they would have had a hard time making it competitive. But the fact that this vehicle is like 80% Nissan Rogue means that it is competitive. And personally, I kind of like the fact that this is a Mitsubishi. There's not a lot of ego left in the Mitsubishi brand. There's not a lot of brand equity at all when it comes to Mitsubishi these days in the US. So it's just an overall humble and subtle vehicle. It undercuts the Rogue in terms of price, and it still has a little bit of character between the styling, that unique all-wheel drive system, I guess, and then the fact that you get those kind of fun lights in the doors, at least in this fully loaded model. Altogether, it's a very competent but also surprisingly charming package. And I think that about sums up the new Mitsubishi Outlander. Thank you for watching.